Hello everybody, long time no see. I am back. I am feeling wonderful. Thank you for all those people that wished me well with my health. It actually took a lot longer to recover than I expected to, but I'm back and I'm feeling a lot better now. Today I have a Beebeecraft design team project, and these are the items, or two of the items that I'm going to be using that I received in my design team package. The first one is the Panda Hall Elite Assorted Tibetan Silver Spacer Beads, and it has 6 different varieties of spacer beads in this lovely packaging that's very easy to open and to shut again. And the other item I'm going to be using is the Panda Hall Elite Tibetan Style Alloy Flower Bead Caps, and this has 15 assorted bead caps in it, and I love them. You can tell which one I used the most of because they're all gone. I used a lovely variety out of here for my project, and I'm just going to be finishing off some of the project with you and explaining what I've done. Along with those 2 items from my design package, I'm using also some stopper beads from Beebeecraft. This is a variety of tiny stopper beads, and it comes in multiple sizes, and there's a tiny one in the corner there as well. Let me just put my little it's just popped off, and I do not want to be losing these beads, so I'll just pop that back on like that. There we go. Lovely packaging as also. And a jewellery kit from Beebeecraft that I'm just going to be using some of the earring backs out of this one to help with my project. You can find the links to these items in the description box below this video. So what I've been doing today is making lots and lots and lots of stick pins, and they're all in neutral tones because they're for some upcoming projects I'm making. So I'm sort of thinking ahead and using my wonderful Beebeecraft items to make these things. I'm going to be gluing a couple of them with you today to show you how it's done, but I'll give you a close-up of what I'm doing. And these ones have already been glued and they're just drying now. And you might notice at the bottom of each one is a little earring back. That will be removed once they're all dry. That is just there to keep the beads in place so they're nice and straight until they're dry. And I'm just using a bit of this foam. This is actually my needle felting foam that I use. If I tip it upside down, you can see where some of the felting has taken place, and my needles are in the sides there. But yes, these are the ones that I've already made, and they came out really, really pretty. I love the way they look. I'm using stick pins in a few different sizes, as you can see. I've got tiny little ones here with oval pearls. I've got tiny ones with like a crystal effect. It's actually plastic on top of that one. I have taller ones with pearl ends on it. And I've also got a long hat pin that I'm making, and the hat pin came from Gail. Thank you so much, Gail. And then, of course, the triple pearl style stick pins that are quite common on the end there. Now, these are quite old, and as you can see, that one is losing a little bit of its pearl effect because they're only plastic at the top. So what I think I will do, and I've done it on a pearl before as well, is I'm going to find my liquid pearls, and once they're dry, I'm going to put a little bit of this on it, and it will add the luster back to my pearl. Can you see where the plastic is showing through? This will actually reinstate that lovely pearlized look. So if you ever, get a bit of glue on some of your plastic pearls and it brings off your pearl effect, just use some liquid pearls and replace it and it'll be fine. So I've got my stick pin and I'm using a lovely variety of the bead caps. So I've got that little bead cap there. Then I've got a spacer bead here. And then another bead cap, a crystal, another bead cap there, a larger bead cap to go over the larger pearl, a large pearl, another large bead cap. Then I have a smaller bead cap there and a tiny little, do I have, no I don't, not on this one. Usually I've been putting a small stopper bead at the end there, and I might just get one out actually because I like the effect it gives when you have a little stopper bead on the end of it as well. So I'll get one out and put that on before I forget. So I'll just remove that earring back while I do this. Oops, there we go. So putting that little stopper bead just tapers it off nicely on the end. That is quite a full stick pin. I don't particularly like to go past that stage, but everybody has a different idea. I love the long ones with just the beads at the top there. I just think it looks ever so elegant. But I probably would not come further down than that, but that is a personal choice. Some people like to take them all the way to the end. I like to have a bit of pin left to stick it into something with. So it's a personal choice. Some of mine are longer, some of mine are shorter, but they're going to be doing different jobs, so that's why that is as well. So let me just put this earring back on, and these will be able to be reused on other projects at some stage. Now I'm just sliding the earring back down to the bottom a little bit. Nothing can fall off, which makes it very easy. So what I do, and I'm using glossy accents for this, and mine is quite old. It might be a little bit discolored, but I'm going to try and keep it nice and tidy. I'm going to get myself a wet one, just in case, because I don't want to get glue all over everything, and keep that handy just for dabbing any little bits of glue. So the first one is a little bead cap, and it's going to hug around the top of the pearl. So I'm going to put a little bit of the glossy accents around the bottom of that pearl where I can see that it's going to touch. Then I can do that and push that bead cap up to that pearl and it will stick. The next one is a spacer bead. Now this spacer bead has quite a large hole, which helps it to overlap the bottom of that bead cap there. So what I need to do is put a little bit of glue on the bottom of that bead cap where I can see it's going to attach, and push that one up there as well. This one, whoops, this one here, whoops, I'm trying to see it and it keeps sliding. I'm going to put a bit of glue on the base of that spacer bead there so that this one will rest on there, and I'll straighten them up at the end so that they look good. This one I will put some of my glue on, whoops, on top of the crystal and go like that, and then I will put some on the bottom of the crystal. And crystal, oh, that's really hard to see actually because the light's shining through it. Okay, that should be alright, like that. Now this one, it doesn't have a huge hole, so I'm going to keep the glue fairly close to the pin on this one. And it's good to get glue on the pin as you're going down to keep everything in its spot. Not just all connected to one another, but also connected to the pin. So with this one, I'm going to have to use it. There we go. Okay, just need to hold that up like that. With this one, I will put some glue inside the bead cap near the pin to hold it in position, and around the edge of the bead cap also, so it touches the pearl like that. I hope I'm not making this look too difficult. I'm just trying to see it myself and keep within the camera. This one I can put some on the base of the pearl where I can see the bead cap will be touching. And I'll also put some on that pin there as well. So like that. And then we have a small little bead cap. I can either put it inside the small little bead cap or right on the bottom, along like that. And also on the pin. That. And then the last little bit is the stopper bead, and I just want to put a bit of glue on the base where that little hole is, so that when it's pushed up to there, it will sit nice and snugly. I just got a little bit of glue on there, so I want to get that off, because I don't want my earring back sticking to it at all. And now that I can see that that's nice and clean, what I'm going to do is just push that down nice and tight, turn it the other way, and just have a look how it's, you know, if everything's nice and straight. If something's a little bit crooked, adjust it. Adjust it before it starts to, you know, to dry. Glossy accents, it does take some time to dry, so you have plenty of time to make sure it's nice and straight. I'm just going to hold mine against a dark background so I can see if it's pretty straight. Sorry about that, but otherwise I won't be able to see properly. I think that's about right. There we go. Okay, so that's our first one made. And like I said, I will touch that stick pin up with my liquid pearls once everything is dry. So I'm quite happy with that. I may have another look at it before it dries just to make sure it's all nice and straight. So that was quite easy to do, and it just shows you there's quite a lot of metal hardware on here to give the effect that it's given, but you don't have to use that many items. This is just a very elaborate one, and so is this one. There's a number of different bead caps, but it just shows you the combinations you use can make it totally different. Like that bottom part there looks really nice and elaborate, but if I had just finished it like that, you see the difference. It kind of just ends bluntly, but I've used a couple of different size stoppers at the bottom just to give it a more elegant look. And at the top here, the top of the pin is just like a straight pin. Then I've used a tiny stopper on the top, pushed it up as far as it will go, like that. And then I've used a bead cap, and this is like a little cone-shaped bead cap, and that will go to the top there. I've used this lovely, almost a flower effect bead cap on that one. Because the beads are quite big on this, I can go for the more chunky bead caps, and it will carry it all right. I have a spacer bead coming next, and that will, see how in between that bead cap There's a bead cap, spacer bead, and a bead cap. And because it's got that spacer bead, it fills it in nicely. It's not just bead cap, it just gives it a nice, elegant type of look. At least I think it does. Then I have another bead cap here, another spacer bead, and once again using the chunkier ones out of the kit because it's a large hat pin, this one. Then I have a more delicate bead cap. I have a crystal. And then instead of using the same bead cap here and here, I changed it up a little bit just so that I could use that the deeper bead cap here on the end, and once again giving it a tapered effect, which makes it look quite elegant. And then the beads at the bottom, and I love the look of that. I really do like the look of that. But you could just use bead caps. But as you do it, you will know what feels right to you. Let me just give that a wipe. I don't know. Oh, no, that's fine. There we go. Okay. So once again, I'm just going to I won't need to glue that one right at the top. It's a really snug fit. So what I'm going to do is put some around the pin, making sure I am under the camera. Put some around that pin there, just so it will, there we go. It will splash it against the bead cap, but that's quite a loose fit. But enough that as it dries, it will hold it. If I bring it down, I can kind of see where the next one will be touching that bead cap, so I'll know where I can put the glue to attach the two. So just around there like that. These are actually quite enjoyable to just sit and make quite a few of. As you can see, I've made quite a few. Now this might be a little bit more difficult. I have to try and get, let's just move those up. I have to get the glossy accents on the inside, a little bit on the inside of this one, so that it will attach to the pearl. Okay, and the same with this one here. I'm just going to, right where, see where they connect on the inside, if I put a bit of glue there, it should hold it to the pearl quite nicely. And now I can put some, around the base of the needle, or the pin, sorry, the hat pin, and glue, put some on the base of the bead cap also for that next one to sit against, like that. Then some on the top of that and around the pin itself, so the bead cap will hold against it. Then a little bit, this is a smaller bead cap now, so I'm just, it looks like I'm shaking something shocking, but because it's a long pin, it just moves an awful lot. There we go. Do that, and then under here as well. Trying not to get it on the pin all the way down there. There we go. Now another spacer bead, so we want it on the base of that and on the pin. Drop that down. What's next? Okay, on the base of that. Goodness, I do hope I've been in shot. You can hear what I'm saying. Drop that down. Okay, now we have the crystal, so we're coming to put some inside the cap here. Like that. And on the pin as well. Okay, drop that down. Like that. Putting some inside the bead cap here. And on the pin there. Like that. Almost done. This one's a big one. And then, because that's quite a deep, it's a small bead cap, but it's quite deep, I need to make sure I get some along that edge there where it will touch. Like that, and on the pin. And now I have the two little stopper beads there, so making sure that's tightly down. Put some around the pin there for that one, and a little bit there, I think. A little bit there, like that. Just making sure I've got no glue here where it was resting before. Push down my earring back, turn it the other way, and have a look and make sure they look fairly even. See how that top one looks a bit, that bead cap looks like it's leaning more towards one side? I'm just going to that. That's alright. That's alright. Making sure that, yep. That, like that, like that. Just make sure your earring is as tight up as you can get it. That way nothing's going to move around once you're happy with it. So just let me check. I think that looks pretty okay. Okay, there we go. So that is that lovely hat pin done as well, using all those lovely pieces from Beebeecraft. So let me just put the lid on my glue there so it doesn't dry up. Wipe my fingers a little bit and just quickly show you some of the different ones that I've made. These ones are very, very simple. We just have a small bead cap, a larger bead cap, a pearl, and a spacer bead on that one. And remember, the earring back is just holding it there. These tiny little ones here are just tiny little pins with a teardrop top on them. And I've used a little spacer bead, a little stopper bead, a spacer bead, and two spacer beads, two different types of spacer beads from the kit in there. And the pearl sits inside the top one. That's why I used that, because it had a large hole in that one, so it came in very handy for those pearl-shaped ones. And with this one, the little bead cap right at the top there engulfed half of the little crystal at the top, which was nice. And then I've just used so we've got a bead cap, a spacer bead, bead cap, and a stopper bead right at the bottom there, with a crystal, a very small little crystal in the middle there. And that's, once again, the little earring back. And then this one just has a pearl on top, so we have a bead cap, what is that, bead cap, another bead cap going the other way on both sides of the pearl. Then we have one of the cone bead caps and a little stopper bead at the end on that one. I like that. It's really quite nice. So I'll put that in there. And these are the same as those, and all of these ones here are the same also. And then here we have a very tiny little one. Actually, that's just a little teardrop shaped stick pin on that one. And I've used some of my own tiny little bead caps that I had. I've got like odds. They're all odd type things. So I just used those on that one there. And then there's this one here. And I've just used a pearl stick pin, a spacer bead, a crystal, and a bead cap on that one. It looks very pretty. And then there's this one here, once again, a taller pearl stick pin with a bead cap on the top. And then up the other way, I've got another bead cap. And then at the bottom of it, I've got the same bead cap as I've got right at the top. So you don't have to have the same bead caps on the top and bottom of your pearls. You can mix it up to give things a different look. And over here we have, see, I used a lot of these bead caps. I really like them because they're kind of small and fluted, so they served the job very nicely. So I've got one up the top there. I've got a bead cap on either side of that crystal, and then two of these little fluted bead caps on the pearl again, and that marries it up with the top one, and I think it looks lovely. And then here, I like this one. This one is one of those fluted little bead caps, then a floral small bead cap with a larger pearl. Then I have a cone-shaped bead cap there at the top and a stopper bead at the bottom, and that one looks really nice as well. And I think that little one there is the same as this one over here, and you saw the two that I showed you today, which is this lovely long hat pin. Oh goodness, it's I think 8 inches. Let's have a look. It's nice and long. Just over 6 inches long, that one. So we've got that one there, and also this one that we glued today as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that tutorial and seen how to use your spacer beads and your bead caps to make some lovely stick pins. You can use the same format for making dangles as well. Instead of using a stick pin, you can use your straight pins, you know, your flat pins or your eye pins, or you can do them individually if you want them with more movement in them as well. But there we go. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you with my next project, and that should just be a couple more days away now, so I'm back in the groove of things and feeling good. So take care, everybody. Bye.